Demi Lovato holds nothing back in this powerful 4-part documentary series exploring every aspect that led to her nearly fatal overdose in 2018 and her awakenings in the aftermath. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back into another video, and today is another Fanatic film review, and the first review coming out of not Sundance, South by Southwest 2021. I am covering South by Southwest. Very excited, a lot of movies to watch and not a lot of time, but today we are talking about the first big movie and headliner of this year's festival, and that is Demi Lovato Dancing with the Devil. This is just such a powerful, emotional documentary, and I think without further ado, let's just kind of hop into it. I don't think this is going to be the longest review in the world because it is a documentary, so there's not a lot of filmmaking aspects to go into with it, but we're going to get into it. The first thing is just the interviews and the access. Demi Lovato really goes all out here. She does not hold back. The thing about like celebrity documentaries, music documentaries, is they will tell you the story, but they will tell you it in a way that sometimes kind of saves their reputation, doesn't show all of what's happening. Here we are told every nasty, ugly, dirty detail about everything that happened to Demi in her personal life, in her past, in what led up to her overdose in 2018, everything that happened with that whole story, and the aftermath of that. I have to give the utmost props to this documentary. It is the most out there, forward, just truth that I've ever seen out of any celebrity-based documentary before. Demi just sits there and she's like, I did heroin. I did cocaine. I had a problem with addiction. And she gets into some of the more nasty stories as well. And she just says it. But it's not just her though. It's all the interviews. The interviews from her stepfather, her mom, her sisters, her best friends, her assistant. Like, they get into the ugly details too. There's a line from one of her best friends. And he literally asks I'm assuming it's the director that's asking the questions, but he's literally like, "Oh, we're gonna talk about heroin, like we're doing that." And the guy's like, "Yeah, like we're doing it." He's like, "I didn't know you were gonna go there, but we're doing that." And that's the level in this documentary that I have the utmost respect for, is that they just went for it. Demi, it didn't matter how bad it looked. She was going to say it and tell it and show the world what actually happened. And God, I got the utmost respect for her and everyone involved in that documentary, because that is something that is so hard to do, and she did it. And that's just major props to her and everything that she did. And the next great thing is just the access. It's the photos, it's the videos, it's everything we were given. We got so many things that Demi gave up. That's the beautiful thing about this documentary, is that she's in it. It's not something about her, it's her telling the story. So she has given videos from her phone, photos from her phone, and you've got all of that archived footage from the documentary that was going to be made in 2018 that never happened because of the overdose. You've got all of that access and all of those photos and videos to make a compelling story. You don't just have people sitting in front of a camera talking. You've got things to go with it, and that is just fantastic. The editing of this is great. You take this 4-part documentary series, and it's only a total of about an hour and 40 minutes. All 4 parts combined are only about an hour and 40 minutes. It's about the length of a regular documentary or a regular movie. And you tell this very complex, deep, hard story that talks about really deep themes of addiction and loss and mental health. And you're able to condense it into a time that was effective I never lost attention. I was never looking at my clock. I think the pacing is very well done, and they just made it and put it all together in such a cohesive unit of a documentary, and it just left me intrigued throughout. And I just kind of touched on it, the editing and the structure of how it's told. Being in 4 parts is great. I know it's going out on YouTube, so they're going to be like bite-sized parts. And I like how they tell the story. Like, they start at the overdose, but then they go back in time. It's kind of like The Last Dance, where you're in, kind of the time that they're talking about, but then you also go back in time, and then we see as it progresses, we go into different stages of her recovery, and then, like, the last episode, we hit what happened during the pandemic, and, you've got some fantastic interviews like Elton John, Christina Aguilera, Will Ferrell, some amazing interviews at the end. Like, those are just in the end. And it does never feel like they're just praising her. That's another thing that I didn't write in my notebook that I didn't originally think about, is this is not a let's praise Demi for how far she's come and what she's done. It's not what this is. Now, there are moments of that, obviously, because people are proud of her, for what she's overcome, for what she has done, for the recovery. People are proud of her for that. But there are very real moments in this where they're like one of her best friends is like, they asked the question to each of them. They said, did you ever feel like giving up on her? And one of her best friends is like, I never felt like giving up, but did I want to bash her in the head sometimes with a brick? Yes. And one of her sisters was like, I did at a time. She's like, she literally says, she's like, if this is the way that she's going to go, let her go. And that's so powerful, because it's not praising her. And that's a lot of times that's what these documentaries are. They're just like praising the celebrity for, just the great things that they've done. That's not this. This is raw. This is real. It's one of the realest documentaries I've ever watched. And, I'm not gonna, I've said some things. I'm not gonna get into entire spoilers, but it's not really, though. With a documentary, what happens. So there's not really a lot of spoilers in here. There's a lot of very meaningful interviews, meaningful conversations, and meaningful questions asked. Big shout out to the director, whoever was asking the questions. They were very meaningful questions, and the way they were asked, you got answers. And there are some really powerful sound bites in this. And the last main point I have is the direction. I think the way that this is composed, just in the editing, I've already kind of touched on the editing, but the way this is composed, the way the questions are asked and they're framed, it's like I just said, you get those answers you want. And, it's tough. It's a tough subject. These are tough themes. And to be able to get these raw reactions and real answers is great direction, great producing. Just fantastic. I was floored leaving this documentary. I was. It really hit me. It was very emotional just seeing, because fame at a young age. I mean, we saw it with Rocket Man with Elton John. Fame at a young age. And Elton John's in this documentary. And he's talking about his experiences and with Demi. Fame at a young age, it can screw you up. It really, really can. And, just seeing this story is just heartbreaking. It really is. It's a very heartbreaking, emotional story. It does not pull any punches, and it's just really good. But I think we're going to get to the point breakdown. That's all I really got to say about it. It's a very well done doc. If you have not seen it, well, you haven't. It just came out on South by Southwest. But it's going to come out, I think, in a few weeks on YouTube. I would highly recommend you check it out. It's very well done. But let's get into the point breakdown. Entertainment, 20 out of 25. I was entertained. I was intrigued. But it's a very hard movie to watch. Performances, 20 out of 20. Not really performances, but the interviews, 20 out of 20. Direction, 10 out of 10. Writing, 10 out of 10. Emotions, 10 out of 10. Cinematography, 10 out of 10. Pacing, 3 out of 5. I do think it's paced a little bit in the middle. It's kind of like, okay, this is a little repetitive. Let's kind of get going. Rewatchability, 3 out of 5. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just it's very hard to watch. So I don't know how much I'm going to want to rewatch it. And then an automatic 5 out of 5. So if you did the math, that means I gave Demi Lovato Dancing with the Devil a 91 out of 100. This is one of the best documentaries I've seen on celebrities. I mean, The Last Dance, nothing's ever going to touch The Last Dance, I don't think. But in terms of celebrity in peril, celebrity and in a bad situation, in terms of docs like this, it's probably the best one I've seen. It really is. And again, it all goes back to the point that They don't pull punches. This is not a let's make Demi Lovato look good. Let's praise her for all she's done. That's not what this is. Demi Lovato is sitting there saying, I was addicted to these drugs. I did all of these drugs. I was addicted to alcohol. And I, was addicted. Like, she is sitting there saying that stuff herself. And it works, and it's effective, and it hit me, and it punches you in the gut, because it's just like, oh my God, these people that we think are these people that are role models that we look up to, that we think are above the law, that we think they're gods, they're not. Everyone's going through stuff, and this is just a really prime example of that. And again, everyone at YouTube, everyone that was involved in the production, all of the people that did the interviews, and then Demi, I mean, props. She's doing really good now, is what we've kind of come out of this with, is that she's really found herself and she's doing really good. So I'm very happy for her, because I don't like to see I've never been a huge Demi Lovato fan, but I don't like to see anyone in pain like that. And for her to be doing better is great. And I'm very happy, and props to her for doing this. She didn't have to, but really props to her for doing this, and everyone. Fantastic. I would highly recommend you guys check it out when it comes out. That's pretty much it. Go check out my website, FinaticFilmReview.com, for all South by Southwest content, but also go over to MusicCityDrivein.com, because I'm posting a majority of my content over there as one of their contributors covering South by Southwest. So go over to MusicCityDrivein.com for my reviews and recaps. Then go to Twitter and Letterboxd for my immediate reactions to all the movies I watch at South by Southwest, and any movie I watch that comes out in 2021. There will be immediate reactions on Twitter and Letterboxd. And of course, the last main thing, if you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing. We're trying to hit the goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's a little steep, but I think it might be attainable. So if you enjoyed the content and you want to see more, please consider subscribing. It really does mean the absolute world. But guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.